5 years ago, I stood on the cracked dock of my so-called $5 lake shack, staring at the sun going down over Pine Lake, when Vivian Blackwood, the self-declared queen of Crystal Shore Estates, pointed her perfectly manicured finger at me and let out this cackle that still echoes in my nightmares. Picture this: fake tan, oversprayed perfume, hair so blonde you could get a tan from it, and a grin so sharp it could slice bread. "Enjoy your rotting fishing shed, trailer trash," she sneered. "You'll be on your knees begging us to take it back within a year." Well, let's just say time has a wicked sense of humor, because that same worthless pile of splinters and rusted nails just got appraised at $5.2 million. Yeah, prime lakefront property, sunset views, private beach, the kind of place developers have actual dreams about. And here's the stomach-turning part. Vivian is now spearheading this lawsuit, waving forged documents around like a deranged parade queen, claiming my land rightfully belongs to the HOA. All because the man she called trailer trash ended up richer than her whole wine-sipping, golf cart-riding, air-kissing crowd. She wanted to erase an eyesore, but ended up handing me the keys to her worst nightmare. I mean, you'd lose your mind too, right? I know there are more stories like this. So go on, drop your HOA disaster story below, and let me know where you're watching from. My name's Garrett Morrison, and believe me, 6 years ago, my life blew up faster than a dynamite shed on the 4th of July. 34, fresh off a divorce that took half my savings and all my good faith in humanity, 12 years as a Navy mechanic fixing jets and hydraulic systems, but not, apparently, marriages. When my ex took the furniture and the future, all I had left was 15 grand, my granddad's last gift. His note just said, "Buy something that makes you happy, son." 15 grand doesn't buy much happiness anymore, but what's a guy to do? So I did what any reasonable person does in the middle of a midlife crisis. I drove. Montana was calling to me with those endless skies and the kind of silence you can hear your own heartbeat in. Back roads, forgotten highways. I wound up circling Pine Lake, water flat as glass, pines whispering secrets older than me. Then I saw it, a hand-painted "for sale by owner" sign, barely visible behind wild roses and weeds. 50 feet of lakefront and a cabin built by, I swear, a committee of drunk beavers. Roof sagging, dock moaning, and this smell, cedar and lake water, and old stories. Felt like home before I even knew it. The seller was Martha Kingsley, 78 and sharp as a tack. "Built this with my husband in '52, she told me, waving her coffee mug toward the lake. "For kids, more fish than I can count, but the family wants me in supervised living now." She even did the air quotes, rolled her eyes. 5 grand, cash as is. No questions. All she wanted was someone who'd love it instead of bulldozing it. And then came that sound I'd learned to hate, a pristine white Escalade purring up the gravel, Blackwood Realty decals glinting. Out stepped Vivian Blackwood, designer jeans, nails clicking on her phone like tiny weapons. She was maybe 52, but strutted like she ran the world, which around here, she kind of did. "Martha, honey," Vivian purred, eyeing me like something she'd scrape off her shoe. "I see you're entertaining visitors." Martha shot back, "This is Garrett. He's buying the property." Vivian's smile froze solid. "Oh, how interesting. I hope you've explained about the new HOA requirements." "Martha, this area is being upgraded." She rattled off a list. Architectural standards, landscaping compliance, at least $50,000 in mandatory upgrades. Minimum. She smiled like she just told me my dog died. Blackwood Realty would be happy to handle a quick sale to more appropriate buyers. That's when I knew, 1, I was buying this property, and 2, this woman was going to be my personal migraine. So I pulled out a cashier's check and grinned. "Sound perfect. I love a good project." 3 weeks later, I learned lesson 1. Always check when your HOA was formed. Vivian's emergency meeting invite should have been my first clue. At the community center, 30 confused homeowners and one wannabe dictator at the podium. Vivian clicked her remote, and up came a photo of my cabin, shot to look like a condemned crime scene. "These unauthorized structures," she declared, "violate our 2019 architectural guidelines. Required improvements, $50,000. Daily fines, $500. Begin immediately. Someone in the back. Margaret, raise her hand. Didn't that place exist before the HOA? Vivian's smile could freeze antifreeze. All properties must conform, regardless of age. But see, my granddad always said, hit him with facts. So I walked to the front, folder in hand, feeling like David with a serious grudge. These are the 1952 property records, I said. Martha's deed grandfathers all existing structures. Your HOA was incorporated in 2018, 66 years after this cabin was built. Montana law is clear. HOAs have zero authority over pre-existing structures. The room erupted, whispers, popcorn panic, people realizing they might be getting scammed. And then, twist number 1. There's more, I said. This development required an environmental study. County has no record of one. Margaret gasped. Does that mean the HOA is illegal? I just shrugged. Could be. Vivian slammed her podium. Meeting adjourned. She cornered me at the exit, nails tapping her clipboard. You have no idea what you're dealing with. Let's see how smart you feel when the bank forecloses. I handed her my business card, Navy Habit. Garrett Morrison, licensed general contractor, property restoration specialist. Call me if you need help understanding building codes. She nearly snapped the card in half. Next morning, HOA's landscaping crew accidentally severed my water line. Derek Blackwood, her bulldog of a cousin, stood over the gushing pipe, grinning. Here's lesson 2. When people play dirty, cameras become your best friend. I started recording everything. Then came a FedEx envelope. Fake legal threats from Derek Blackwood. Yescu. Looked official, sounded official, but my lawyer friend confirmed Derek wasn't licensed to practice law anywhere. Practicing without a license is a felony. Duly noted. Meanwhile, I renovated like a man possessed. Cedar shakes, modern plumbing, expanded deck. Everything documented. That's when Vivian brought in a surveyor. Suddenly, bright orange stakes popped up, magically moving my boundary 10 feet inward. But I had my own guy, Bill Henderson, a local legend. He laughed at the stakes. Your property line runs 15 feet past those markers. Hell, you own more land than you thought. Even better, my deed included riparian rights, exclusive water access, dock, fishing, the whole package. At the next meeting, Bill exposed the phony survey. Your surveyor either can't read a compass or thinks trees migrate. County records backed him up. Vivian stormed out. Next morning, power got cut. 6 fake gas leak reports called in. But my security footage caught Derek in the act, handing it all to the utility worker. Game, set, match. Vivian's next move? Special community assessment. $2,000 per household for legal fees. Only for homes negatively affected. Which meant, pretty much, all her opponents. Margaret, her husband, and other neighbors started coming to me in tears. They couldn't afford it. That's when the penny dropped. Vivian was using the HOA as a racket, harassing folks until they sold cheap, then buying up their places through her own realty company. Systematic fraud, targeted enforcement for profit. Next came the health hazard claim, my septic tank allegedly contaminating the lake. Joke was I just had it inspected and upgraded. The real pollution came from HOA landscapers dumping chemicals into the storm drain. I hired an independent lab, filmed the whole process, and when the results came back, I blasted them everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, local news. My property? Cleaner than spring water. The community boat ramp? Chemical soup. Vivian lost it in public, literally. Poolside meltdown, screaming about a $50 million development deal lost because of one man's fishing shack. That's when Margaret stood up, dripping in her swimsuit, and called her out. So, you've been stealing our money to steal his property? The crowd erupted. Turns out Vivian had been embezzling HOA funds for years, paying her legal fees with community money. Within days, residents demanded audits. Signatures flew. The health department and news crews descended. 3 days after a meltdown, Martha called me, said she found something in her late husband's papers. I headed over. There, in a yellow deed from 1950, buried in fine print, was a reversion clause. If the property sat abandoned for 18 months or was condemned, ownership reverted to the county for public use, then quietly auctioned to whoever had the right connections. Vivian had been trying to force abandonment, so the county could seize and flip it to her developer pals. Martha even showed me a confidential real estate listing from 2019, my lot, already planned out as a boutique resort for Blackwood Realty's buyers. Suddenly, every violation, every harassment, every sleepless night made sense. A chess game to force me off the land before the clock ran out. I had 4 months left on the abandonment clause. That's when I turned my cabin into mission control. Timelines, documents, photos, and Martha as my co-pilot. We brought in Rebecca Santos, a lawyer who loved a good David versus Goliath. Her team coordinated harassment complaints, challenged the HOA's incorporation, and countersued for damages, demanding a full financial audit. Weekly meetings on my deck became community organizing, 15, then 30, then more. A forensic accountant, David Blair, uncovered $340,000 diverted to Blackwood Realty, plus fake bills for legal services and maintenance that never happened. Even Derek's lawyer fees. The evidence was so overwhelming, even Vivian's allies started bailing. Then the media got wind. Sally Blair, an investigative reporter, agreed to hold the story until Vivian's big HOA meeting. Meanwhile, I played the role of broken man, gossiping in public about maybe selling. Vivian's spies ate it up. But every improvement, solar panels, garden, mailbox, was a brick in my legal fortress. Finally, Vivian made her big move, sent Derek to offer me $100,000 in cash to disappear. I almost laughed. If you're willing to pay that much for me to leave, this place is worth 10 times more. She tried everything, bribes, threats, even confessed on hidden camera to years of harassment and insider deals. Then the harassment campaign hit full blast. Utilities cut, fake condemnations, Derek impersonating a sheriff to serve fake court documents. Security cameras caught it all. Even private security patrols showed up, acting like rent-a-cops in a war zone. But the real show was the annual HOA meeting. 83 residents, county commissioners, TV cameras. Vivian took the podium, tried to ram through a vote to declare my property abandoned. I stood up, evidence in hand, Martha waving the original deed with the reversion clause. The room went silent. Then Sally Blair rolled the damning footage. Derek vandalizing, Vivian coaching fraud, the bribery offer. $340,000 embezzled. It was over. Commissioner Williams stood up and told Vivian to stop talking right now. Then sheriff's deputies slapped on the cuffs. The crowd erupted. For the first time in years, justice felt real. Vivian and Derek ended up facing federal charges, fraud, embezzlement, practicing law without a license, impersonating an officer. The HOA got dissolved, stolen money returned. My old fishing shack turned into an environmental education center for kids. I sold the development rights to the county for conservation, kept the cabin, and started a legal defense fund for other homeowners facing HOA bullies. Now, the same neighbors who once hid behind curtains come together for community dinners and cleanup days. Margaret runs the new committee. And Martha, she's the hero, teaching her great-granddaughter to fish from the same dock her husband built. Even Sally Blair's news story led to statewide HOA reform. Vivian? Bankrupt, disgraced, and long gone. I never set out to fight a war. I just wanted to watch the sunrise over the lake. But sometimes, life hands you a fight you can't ignore. If you've got your own HOA nightmare, drop it in the comments. I read every one, and I just might show up with coffee and a notepad. Hit subscribe if you want to see more real justice stories. Because the only thing more satisfying than watching karma do its thing is being part of it.